You could watch your film work, but you
Right.
do not like to do that.
Right, well, because I'm used to doing plays. I came from theater background, so it never really equated to me that why would I want to watch that?
For many people, acting in a big Hollywood movie is their biggest dream in life, and they fantasize about being able to go to a fancy movie screening and see their face on the silver screen. But believe it or not, there are actually a lot of actors in Hollywood that, even though this could be their reality, refuse to make it one because they don't want to watch the movies they're in under any circumstances. Hey, what's up, Iers? It's Mackenzie here, and today on the channel, I'm going to be filling you in on the top 10 actors that don't watch the movies they're in. And there are a lot of reasons you're going to hear about. Some are very insecure and think that's going to mess up their craft, while others would just prefer not to. And I will be breaking it all down below. But before I get into it, make sure to go down below and subscribe to never miss a video from the channel just like this one. Starting off at number 10, we have Andrew Garfield. Andrew is vehemently against watching his own movies. He once told The Hollywood Reporter that when being interviewed for the film Never Let Me Go, that he hadn't seen the movie and he tries not to. His reasoning is that it will mess with his head, and if he starts to become aware of the things that he does on camera, that could cause him to become less open and inauthentic. But he did say that he was pressured into watching the screening for the movie The Social Network, telling the interviewer that they, quote, made me watch that one. And I thought his performance in that movie was amazing, along with Jesse Eisenberg, so I'm happy he got to watch that one. Fun fact, it's actually one of my favorite movies of all time, if you were wondering. Up at number 9, we have Reese Witherspoon. The Oscar-winning actress is another person who is completely against watching her own movies. And that's just crazy for me to hear because of just how many iconic movies that Reese has acted in. Like, come on, there's no way she hasn't seen Legally Blonde, right? Like, that's one of the best movies ever. But anyways, when asked if she watches her own movies, she said that's literally the last thing on earth that she would want to do. She told the Daily Express in 2010, quote, "I won't watch them because if I did, I would spiral into a state of self-hate. But I sometimes catch the odd clip of something. I look at it and think, I have absolutely no memory of that. It's really weird." Then she even spoke about it more on Chelsea Lately, plainly asking why anyone would want to watch themselves being stupid and pretending to be someone else. And when you put it like that, it kind of makes some sense. In at number 8, Jared Leto. Even though Jared Leto is an Academy Award winner, he probably didn't even watch Dallas Buyers Club, even though it was an insanely good movie. His reasoning is that when he makes a film, it's a profound experience, and he feels like he doesn't have any business watching the movie. He also stated that since he has no control over the finished product of the video, he'd rather leave it alone than pick it apart. Then saying that in every film that he does, he has to reinvent himself and figure out how to start fresh again so he never repeats himself, and each movie is a totally different process. In at number 7, Julianne Moore. Julianne has said on many occasions that she does not see any of her own movies and is not planning on it anytime soon, saying that she's more interested in acting than filmmaking, and she's known for walking the red carpet at her movie premieres and then leaving before she's the chance to watch the movie. She even once said in an interview, quote, "I like being in the movie more than I like watching them. That's my big thrill, rather than seeing the finished product." And we really have no choice but to respect her for her love of the craft. In at number 6, Adam Driver. Adam Driver is another one that absolutely hates watching his own movies, saying in an interview with Seth Meyers, quote, "I'm used to doing plays. I came from a theater background, so it never really equated to me like, why would I want to watch that? So as long as I know what it feels like, that's good enough for me," Driver said. But he did say that the only exception to this rule that he has ever made was when he was in the final film in the Star Wars Skywalker saga, because he is such a huge fan of the franchise. Plus, he said he also wanted to check on how the CGI looked after the fact, because most of the work he did for the film was in front of a green screen. He had no idea how it looked on the big screen and wanted to check it out. And I didn't see the movie, but I hope he was impressed, because acting in front of a green screen seems to be one of the hardest things an actors can do. Like I watch those YouTube videos where you compare a green screen to the finished product, and it's just insane what these actors do. You gotta check it out if you haven't seen them. Halfway through at number 5, Megan Fox. Megan is another star that refuses to watch her own movies, but her reason is slightly different than some others on this list, with her reasoning being that she doesn't like to look at herself, whether it be in photos or in movies, as she can become very insecure of the way she looks. Which is just so crazy to me, because in movies she's painted as this incredibly confident, sensual woman, but in real life she's way more normal, just being insecure like the rest of us of how she looks on camera.
Hi, I'm Megan Fox, and they are gonna force me to watch all of my old movie clips. No, please don't make me listen to myself. What am I talking about.
In an interview on the topic, she said, quote, "I panic if there's a monitor in the room and I immediately go into like an anxiety attack. I'm insecure. I think most actors are actually pretty insecure." Although she did later admit to seeing Transformers in theaters, but she claimed she needed the help of a lot of champagne to get through it. But honestly, hearing that a lot of actors are actually insecure just like us might be the craziest thing that I've read all week. And I've been covering all this Dramageddon stuff, so that's when you know it's crazy. Up at number 4, Joaquin Phoenix. So Joaquin is someone that I'm actually not surprised at all doesn't want to watch their own movies, because he seems to be truly just obsessed with the craft and doesn't really care at all about the glitz and glamour that his job brings. But Joaquin's story is a little more interesting, as he is somewhat interested in what the final product of his movies looks like, but he knows that it has the potential to affect his future work, so he avoids doing so. Saying in an interview, quote, "I don't want to watch myself. Of course there's a part of you that's curious for a second, and I constantly have to tell myself no, because it stands a greater chance of having a negative effect on future work." And I have to commend him on the fact that he's just so disciplined, but I'm sure it's been what's made him known as one of the greatest actors of our time. In at number 3, Angelina Jolie. Angelina is another Hollywood A-lister that's not really all that interested in seeing how her movies turn out, saying in interviews that she likes the process of making movies much more than watching them, saying that she doesn't really like to watch movies all that much in general. But since this was back when she was with her ex Brad Pitt, she pointed out that she does love watching his movies, just not her own. Then saying about some other movies that she's not against watching them, that it's just not her favorite thing. Saying about the movie Wanted that she didn't feel all that connected to the production of the movie. She then continued that she really feels proud of her films when she's able to feel really removed from them. In at number 2, Johnny Depp.
Sorry, you've not seen the movie?
Not just yet.
And you're too busy to see it, probably?
You know, in a way, you know, once my job is done on the film, it's really none of my business.
Johnny not only doesn't like watching his own movies, but he told David Letterman that he stays as far away as he possibly can once he's done filming them. He added that all he's concerned about is the acting, and once it's done, it's really none of his business. Then when talking with The Independent in 2013, he told them that he'd made a choice that it was better not to watch his films, which is a drag because he misses out on all his amazing performances, but it harms him too much to watch them. And he believes being as ignorant as possible about the results of the movie makes him a much happier person. And lastly, we have Jesse Eisenberg, who has stated that watching his own movies makes him feel extremely self-conscious, so he avoids it whenever he can. In an interview he did with Insider, he gave the analogy of vacation photos to make people understand, saying, quote, "You've taken 100 pictures and you only like 2 or 3 of the pictures, and you send them all to your friends, and the rest you're totally mortified by how you look. The side of your face, that Speedo you decided to wear, that's the experience for me. 2% of a project I feel so comfortable with and proud of, and the rest of it I feel very self-critical of. I'm doing this willingly, of course, but if you can project that kind of feeling about those 98% of pictures of yourself onto a massive scale of a movie that a lot of people are just not going to see but scrutinize, you can understand." Clarifying that he loves watching movies and looking at the other actors' work, just not himself. He also added that now most things are filmed in IMAX. It's even more traumatic than before.
You don't watch the films you've been in?
No.
Why?
Oh, I don't like looking at myself. You know, it's like if you ever hear your voice on the answering machine and you're like horrified for the day, so you multiply that by a
It's what you do for a living, though.
Okay guys, well that's all for the list today. Let me know your thoughts on all this down below, and let me know if you were cast in a movie, would you watch it? For me, I would totally have to see it. Like, if potentially millions of people were gonna see one of my movies, I would just be way too tempted not to. Like, for me, with IO videos, since there's so many, I almost never watch them all in full because I just don't even have the time. But I'll watch it if I remember it being really funny, or if it got a lot of views and I just wanna see why. But before I go, I'm gonna shout out some comments from my influencer going to jail over TikTok's video. So one user said, "But it's okay when underage girls throw it back." Oh my god, it's literally not. I hate when I see stuff like that online, but it just kinda is what it is at this point, sadly. Then Rising Phoenix said, "Imagine their shock if they saw what American teenage girls do on a daily basis." Seriously, the difference in countries is just truly shocking. It's wild. Then Nancy said she's actually a very famous Egyptian celebrity. She's a singer and actress and hostess, and she was arrested because of videos and things she would say in 2019, and it's not because of her TikTok videos. So I saw a few people sharing this, so I went to look at my source again, and the Daily Mail article that I used pretty much just said that it was all because of her online content that she's going to jail now. I didn't really see anything that it was about her making comments, but thanks so much for that addition. Okay guys, well that's all I have for the video. Thank you so much for watching if you made it all the way here, and make sure to subscribe for more celebrity videos just like this one. Also make sure to follow the IO page on Instagram as we post news stories there all the time. Thanks again, and I'll see you in the next one. burp break.